Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. A major cryptocurrency exchange which operates in the United States and never delisted XRP is reaping massive benefits as a result of not removing XRP. And you can look at the headline here on your screen here. Uphold in surprise as XRP tops exchange's trending coins. And so today, XRP is the most traded coin on Uphold. Think about that. Topping Bitcoin even. You know, like all these exchanges, and again, I in hindsight, I hope they're recognizing that the path forward would have been to, be a bit more firm, but I understand that they did what they thought was in their best interest, and so I'm trying to not be overly harsh on these exchanges. But I think that exchanges like Uphold, who never removed XRP from the platform, deserve the praise of the XRP community. And I'll state too, the reason that they didn't move, they flatly stated, said, look, we don't know of any attorneys. We consulted many, so not just their own in-house legal team, but many outside, said we can't find any that believe that XRP is actually a security. So they just refused to list it. They took a bold approach, and because of their bold and correct approach, they're now reaping the benefit of this. It's just cool stuff. I've also got this headline from You Today. XRP accounts nearing 4.35 million mark, but here's even crazier stat. And then there's also this headline from the Daily Huddle. Fidelity Digital Assets report finds nearly 60% of surveyed institutional investors have invested in crypto. So upon reading that headline, my first thought was, wow, that's a bit higher than what I had expected. But it's still early. I mean, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 3-4% of humans that have ever bought any crypto at any point in time. It's still super early days here. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. You remember headlines like the one on your screen now, don't you? Here's one from Cointelegraph, December 31st, 2020. So about a week after the asshats at the SEC sued Ripple, claiming that XRP, by the nature of existing because reasons, is a security. The headline is, U.S. exchanges are suspending or delisting XRP left and right. And that is what you saw. Almost every exchange in the United States didn't, with the three exceptions that I can recall off the top of my head, and these might be the only ones, would be Uphold, I think is BitTrue, right? And GateHub. I think those are the only three where they're available in the United States currently. And it's just why it's just nice to see a headline like this where Uphold is reaping the benefits. So they did what they thought legally, from a legal perspective, made sense, but it was the right move. They're on the right side of law, right side of history, and I'm glad to see that they're financially benefiting from the trades as a result. They deserve to. They're a for-profit entity. They deserve to. They're providing a service for people that want XRP. And it would be that much harder without them. And it makes me wonder, because it's not as though every single person that would have bought or sold XRP on other exchanges flocked to Uphold or other exchanges, BitTrue or GateHub, but a number of them did. A number of people did. So I'm happy for the exchanges that kept on providing XRP. I'm glad that they benefited. Good for them. Seriously, good for them. They deserve it. They should be applauded. The article reads as follows. In recent times, XRP has attracted lots of attention among cryptocurrency investors as new developments unfold in the legal battle between Ripple and the SEC. And they go into cite the top 5 traded cryptos today. XRP at the top of the list, and it's funny, Bitcoin's not even in the top 5. But XRP number 1, I'm telling you, that, so fine, like a lot of the volume's drawn to the few exchanges that allow it, but that's still telling. That's rather telling. There are 5 coins, and they're all beating out Bitcoin, frankly. And then there's this, XRP accounts nearing 4.35 million mark, but here's even crazier stat. According to XRP Ledger Services, which tracks XRP Ledger's performance, there are currently 4,342,550 XRP accounts. Now, these accounts hold 55.7 billion XRP in their wallets, of which 43.425 million XRP is the amount of those reserves that are blocked when the wallet is created. What is interesting, however, is the extremely small amount of empty XRP wallets. If the data is to be believed, only 948 of multiple millions of XRP accounts do not contain anything. Thus, the number of empty XRP accounts is only 0.02% of the total. Okay, so I would like to note, I think a primary driver of that reason is that, for most of the life of XRP, there was no way to delete an account. And that was kind of the point. If you open an account, but you have to have that reserve and it's stuck. Eventually, there was an amendment that passed that changed that so you ultimately can delete an account, although there's cost associated with it. But I wanted to share that because I'd never seen that stat, and that's fascinating. So even today, even after we get to the point where accounts can now be deleted, there's only 0.02% of the total supply that are empty even. So it's just fascinating. I don't know what the number is for Bitcoin. I would love to see a comparison, but I'm willing to bet that little lopsided. That would be my for fun guess. Such early day. One day we're going to look back on all this nonsense with the SEC, and like once everything's finished, and we'll just look at it. Maybe we'll still feel stunned amazement at that point, because I'm optimistic that it's going to be concluded to the positive for XRP holders and people in the world of crypto at large. But we're here during a truly historic moment in the world of crypto. And this is something that'll be studied in law for decades to come. People will look back on this, and it's like, I don't know if we all fully appreciate on a daily basis that we're all here watching history unfold. But it's also a good way to illustrate just how early we are in terms of the adoption of cryptocurrency. If something this basic hasn't been figured out, yeah, you're early, son. You are very early to the party. The hosts are not ready to have you. It is very rude to be showing up early to the party. The manners on this one. But that's good. But that means that there's so much opportunity here. Which brings me to this next article from the Daily Huddle. Fidelity Digital Assets report finds nearly 60% of surveyed institutional investors have invested in crypto. A new survey from financial services giant Fidelity shows that a majority of institutional investors have already invested in crypto assets. In a report from Fidelity Digital Assets, a crypto arm of the firm, President Tom Jessup says that the industry is in a phase of institutionalization as it emerges from a bear market cycle. And here's a quote. The increased adoption reflected in the data speaks to a strong first half of the year for the digital assets industry. While the markets have faced many headwinds in recent months, we believe that digital assets fundamentals remain strong and that the institutionalization of the market over the past several years has positioned it to weather recent events. Institutional investors are experienced in managing through cycles, and the largely inherent factors that they cited as appealing in this study will likely remain as the market emerges from this period, end quote. Exactly. So prices being down, to anybody that knows anything, understands this, that in and of itself isn't something that's scary. Which is why, even though I felt like my bags were sufficiently packed about a year ago, given that we're entering, many argue, actually as a bear market, and that's fine. Some like to characterize it as some sort of temporary pullback over a prolonged market cycle. I'm not going to get it. Call it what you want to call it. The market's down. I don't care. It's just a definition. The market's down, so let's just call it a bear market. I don't care. Even though my bags were packed a year ago, since we didn't have the crazy alt season that we were all hoping for, I still think alts are going to be worth way more in the future. This is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar asset class again at some point in the future. It already topped out around $3 trillion, and at some point it'll be in the tens of trillions, and I don't see why it couldn't be over $100 trillion at some point. Because not that much money needs to flow in to bid the price up to that level. Nowhere near that much cash needs to flow in, just people getting a frenzy and the bid prices up. So while markets have been down, I have been in recent months, and I've been talking about it, but most of the purchases I've been making, I've been happy to just kind of mention anyway. And a couple days ago, I purchased a brand new cryptocurrency for the first time, and I'd been aware of it for many years. I just happened to have not purchased it, and it is Filecoin. And I'm sure many of you have heard of this one. And I'm not shilling anything. Like, just to be clear, I'm not paid to even talk about this. I just think it's fun to talk about this stuff. I can't imagine I'd ever take money to prop up a coin. Like, to me, the idea of that is just so icky. Unless I were directly involved from the ground up in building a project, maybe that would some way be different. In which case, I'd still articulate what I'm doing there. But in it, if somebody, and people have endlessly for years, come at me saying, we'll pay you X amount to, have you talk about XYZ coin, whatever it is, I don't even respond to any of those. I never have. I just to me, it's just a disingenuous money grab. I'm not going to take part in that. So I just want to be clear about that because I am talking about a new coin here out of nowhere. I just didn't want anyone to get the wrong impression. So I'm not telling you to buy it. I just think it's fun to talk about this. Maybe it goes to zero. I don't know. But I will tell you this. I've been aware of Filecoin. The idea is interesting to me because it offers utility, and I'm most interested in cryptocurrencies that offer utility. And so Filecoin is a coin that can be used on a platform that it effectively is attempting to replace cloud storage. So you could think about, like Amazon Web Services. You can think about Carbonite. There are endless number of competitors out there in the space. And this is a decentralized form of that. And there are a number of reasons that there are benefits to that. There are certain risks associated with it. So we'll see if it's long-term viable. But even Brad Garlinghouse years ago said there are, most crypto projects is like, I don't know why you need a coin for that. Couldn't you just use a database? And I'm paraphrasing, this is what Brad Garlinghouse said, but he's like, but there's some that seem interesting to me, like even Filecoin. And then he went on to say, now, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but it's certainly an interesting one. So he was acknowledging, well, we don't know how this is going to pan out. Markets have to figure that out, of course. It's certainly an interesting concept. And so my point is not to get into a breakdown of exactly how it works, but just on a very high level, the idea is web storage. And so I had known about this for a number of years, and their mainnet went live, like I think it was mid-October of 2020, which is why the pricing on Live CoinWatch only goes back to the middle of October 2020. And so it was around $64, then it went down very quickly to hovering around roughly a $30 mark, down to $20. But then you know what happened, right? So, and again, think about this. This is basically the beginning of Filecoin, for a mainnet, in terms of like there being a mainnet launch. And so you know what happened shortly after Filecoin, was live mainnet wise. we had a huge jump up in 2021 in crypto markets. And so Filecoin being new and it entered price discovery, it ran up to $237, which was its all-time high. And then it's corrected downward along with the rest of the market. And it's sitting very close to its all-time low at this point. So I looked at that and I saw that and I started to get excited. I was like, whoa, this thing's down like what, over 95%? Hell yeah. I mean, that's normal in crypto. So I bought some and I'm just going to keep buying little bits here and there until it starts taking off. And then when it does, I'll stop buying again. But I was like, hell, we'll see what happens. And again, I've done some, I did enough research to where I'm like, okay, I think this might make sense. I'm going to keep doing research. And if I ever think it doesn't make sense, then okay, fine, I'll adjust accordingly. But I decided to just get some exposure to this. And plus on top of that, even outside of utility, the whole market does still move in tandem. So to see something like this that is down so much and is so new that it's barely had an opportunity to operate in bull market territory, I was just like, huh, I've already got it that high. And there's actually potential utility. I was like, sign me up. Let's see what happens. And for me, on top of that, since we don't know for sure which cryptocurrencies are going to have long-term viability if you fast forward a few decades, I just want broader exposure. And that's why even though XRP is my favorite crypto, my largest holding to this date, I haven't purchased it in about 2 years. Because I purchased too much. I'm joking only a little. I was spending a lot, but so for me anyway. So at this point, I just want more exposure to the crypto asset class broadly, just to kind of spread out the risk, so to speak, and that's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. So again, I'm not telling you to buy. I just thought it would be a fun thing just to kind of mention and to note, like, when I see prices this low, I don't get scared. And if this thing tanks further, I won't get fearful. I'll get excited because I don't think that will be an indication of something fundamentally wrong. Unless somebody finds like a bug in the code, it's like, okay, it actually doesn't work and it goes zero. And like, okay, fine. Outside of that, if it's just going down because of normal market fluctuations, I'm going to buy more. I'll throw a ton more money at it if it does. And that's just how I look at investing in crypto in general, though. So that is what it is. I'll go ahead and wrap up here, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.